Habits. If you have not read that book, you have to. This book is life right now. I love this book, Amber. Atomic Habits. Oh my gosh. If I have time, I'm gonna read what I highlighted because it kind of goes with it. And I literally read it yesterday when I did my notes. I was like, this is perfect. For those of you who do not know me, I am Karen. I am a leader with Lavelle. I've been here for just over a year. I get super nervous doing these Zooms, but I just had something on my heart, and it was more like an epiphany, if that makes sense. Because I know, and it kind of goes along the way where you feel like you're stuck, but not being stuck in business, being stuck in posting the same thing and being repetitive. So I'm going to that's why I call this turn the page, because I feel like I've been looking at kind of stories from my posts from memories that are coming up to what I'm posting now. And it's evolved a little bit, but I'm still talking about the same struggle. So this is for me just as much as it is for you. And that was the epiphany. And I messaged Amber, I was like, I got an idea. So I'm going to read off my notes. And if I have time, I'm going to go over here to this thing on Atomic Habits, because it was absolutely brilliant that it popped up the same day I did my notes. So it's about sharing our story. That is what we do here. And first thing is, if you feel like you have to force your posts, you need to step away. Like, you need to take a day or two and just kind of reflect and
I press back
and just all of the things and figure out why you're here. Not why you started, but why you're still here. And what you want and where you want to be in 5 years. Because if you feel like you're forcing your posts and it's not just flowing, there's something wrong, and you need to refocus and reshift what's going on there. I've had to do that before. It's about not being the same person that I was when I was in depression in 2016. Not being the same person in depression in 2017. Even then, it evolved. It evolved as my depression had worsened, and then in 2019, God rescued me from that. I was sinking more and more into the quicksand of it all. But I'm not even the same person I was when I hit that promoter option in 2020. Like, I'm not even the same person I was last year when I hit that promoter option. I was looking for something different. I was looking for something other than being broke every month after bills are paid, right? I was looking for something different than the same old struggle that we had been in, but it's evolved since then. But I still find myself posting the same struggle. So we're not the same people that we were, whether you started a month ago or whether you started a year ago or whether you started 5 years ago. You are a completely different person, and that means your story has changed. Your story has evolved from when you first started. I'm not even the same thriver that I was in 2020. My why for using Thrive has grown. My why has grown. My mentality has grown, and my faith is stronger than ever. Coming into this, we are trained and taught to share our stories, but sometimes we get caught up in writing the same page. And that's why I called this Turn the Page, because sometimes we get caught up in just, well, I was in a depression and now I'm happy, but there's so much in between that, little bits and pieces, and you don't have to share every single detail of your life. We have our private lives, right? But there's little bits and pieces that you can pull from that in between to add to your story, not just I was here and now I'm here, yay, try my products. It's more than that. And we are more than that. And I think it was Brielle who posted today about how we don't just sell vitamins. We sell a whole dang lifestyle here, because it really is that lifestyle. And it's sharing little pieces of your story, and it's sharing the transitions from the changes that you go through. And change is easy, but the transitions that we go through are the hard part. And that's where we have to get uncomfortable and start talking about that. Because, and I'm going to get into comparison mode in a second, but you have to get uncomfortable with talking about the pain of your growth, not just the greatness of it. Like, I talk all the time about how much I have grown with this leadership, and it's so surreal for me, because I've never been introduced in my entire life to self-development. I've heard hashtag self-care, but like, I never really knew what that was. I never knew what hashtag self-development actually meant. I didn't know what growth meant. I didn't know what podcasts and leadership and motivational. I didn't know any of this stuff that I have been introduced to since joining this company. So this is all completely new to me. And I can talk about the greatness of it, but sometimes you have to pull from the pain of the growth. It's like growing pains as you're growing up, you know? You have to pull from that pain and share that part of your story. You have to get real. And that's where other leaders have talked about being authentic. I'm not saying you have to use full disclosure of your whole life, like just put a camera in your house, right? You have to start sharing a little bit more and turn the page from the same old thing that you've been sharing, because somebody needs to hear your story, and nobody else can tell your story the way that you can except for you. And like I said, we do have our private life and our private moment, but sometimes we have to step away from always writing and sharing about what you're comfortable with. Don't share something if it's forced. If you have to force your post, don't share it. You need to step away from everything that you're doing and refocus your priorities and why you're still here. You have to get in that uncomfortable space, right? And share more of what and how you went through, because nobody else went through what you went through, the way that you went through it. Like somebody else could have gone through depression, but they didn't go through it the way that I went through it. So only I can share my story that way. But eventually you have to kind of get away from that and talk about the changes and the growth and the transitions from that to where you are now. Not just, I was here and now I'm here. You got to pull bits and pieces from that in between. We're no longer on that same chapter. We are on a whole new level of growth mindset. Being new in something is exciting. So we talk about that for a very long time. Like, I just joined this company. Oh my gosh, these products are amazing. It's amazing. You have to join me. And all of that. And it is so excited. So we like stick with that. And we want to keep the excitement going, but you have to turn the page. You have to turn the page and you have to start moving forward. Like, keep the excitement going, but you have to turn the page and you have to turn it into where you're at now, because you're not a newbie anymore, right? You're not a day one thriver anymore. I'm like a year and a half in. So I can't keep talking like, oh my gosh, that sticker changed my life. Yeah, that sticker changed my life. But why is that sticker still changing my life after a year and a half? Right? Losing my place there. Hang on. Having a new baby. I wanted to compare it to that. Having a new baby, starting a new job, but at some point that new car smell does wear off. And we have to turn the page and keep going. That's usually when people quit. That's usually when the excitement wears off. That's usually when people will quit and they'll fall off and they'll ghost you. And they'll be like, well, this wasn't for me, or it's not what I thought it was going to be. And the new car smell wears off. And, that's usually when people quit. And if they don't quit, they level up. So you're either going to quit when that new car smell wears off and the excitement of being new in this business and the first 14 days is done and you didn't hit your VIPs, and now it's like, okay, now what? Right? Are you going to quit or are you going to level up? But you have to turn the page to find out where you're going to go. And I thought that was so important, because I've actually had promoters dip out, and that's okay. Your story is not the same as another leader's story is. We may be in the same company, but we are all in different chapters, and that's what makes us all relatable. But that's what makes us great leaders, whether you're a brand promoter or whether you're a 200K promoter. Being a 200K promoter doesn't make you a better leader than a brand promoter or a 4K leader or a 12K leader, right? Your story is what makes you different and unique. Your story is what makes you relatable. You are your business. You are your brand, right? But if you keep posting about the same stuff, people are just going to scroll right past you and they're not even going to see you anymore. And then you're just going to be a person that they follow and then eventually unfollow. So you have to turn that page. It keeps the excitement going. It keeps the freshness, right? Because you're not the same person you were. You are not the same person you were. It's having that courage to share your story, not just what you went through, but where it's brought you. And not just the fact that I went through depression I went through depression. It sucked. It was heavy. I should be a statistic. I shouldn't be here. And I have to talk more about where it's brought me, right? I got time? I might have time. It's hard to read this because it's highlighted, which, whatever. Okay, so I read this statement. If you can't find a game where the odds are stacked in your favor, create one. Right? If you can't find a game where the odds are stacked in your favor, create one. So if it's not flowing, if your posts aren't flowing, if you're not finding your place on a natural level, create it. Create it. This is your business.
So y'all, I've had an amazing weekend.
This is your business. You get to build your business your way on your time with your personality. It's your story. Nobody else has your story, right? We can steal some little story opportunity posts from some of our top leaders who are a little bit more creative than some of us sometimes or have more time to do that, but we can't take their story. Only you have your story. Only they have their story. So if you're not finding something that's stacked in your favor, create it. This is your business. When you can't win by being better, you can win by being different. We're not in competition with each other. We're all in the same company, but we're not in competition with each other, right? Amber's story is different than mine. Kelly's story is different than Amber's. Jennifer's is different than Harriet's, right? So if you can't win by being better, you can win by being different. And I like to look at it like I'm my own competition. I only sold 1 sample pack last month. I'm going to sell 2 this month, or 3 or 4, right? I had a crappy day yesterday. I'm going to have a better day tomorrow, right? Be your own competition. We're not in competition with each other. I'm not going to sit here and be somebody's cheerleader, but I get super excited when I see other people hit ranks and bonuses. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. Like, I'm coming up. It's going to be my turn, right? So I get excited when they hit it because I know that really helped them, but I'm not here to be their cheerleader. I'm here to do my business and build my business. And I'm going to show love on their posts, and I'm going to show them support, and I'm going to give them encouragement. But I have to work my business. I can't focus on all of these other leaders. If I do that, I'm not going to have any time for my business, and nothing's going to get done. I love everybody though. Like, I do try to show everybody love, but some days you can't, right? This is like a weird analogy. I thought it was, but it kind of goes with we're all in the same business. So I want you to think that when I read this. Boiling water will soften a potato, but it's going to harden an egg. You can't control whether you are a potato or an egg, but you can decide to play a game where it's better to be hard or soft. If you can't find a more favorable environment, you can transform the situation from one where the odds are against you to where they're in your favor. Like I said, we're all in the same company. Some people go hard. Some people take a softer approach. It's your personality. This is your business. It is how you run it. Once we realize our strengths, we know where to spend our time and energy. And I think somebody just threw that up in the chat. You have to know where to spend your time and energy. I'm more productive in the mornings. Some people are more productive in the evenings. But you have to, even when you're being productive in your business, you have to watch where you're spending your energy. Are you just scrolling? Are you watching reels? Are you posting on everybody else's page? What are you doing? So you have to know where your strengths are, and you have to know where you're spending your energy and where you're finding your strengths are. Like, there are some leaders who are mass promoter enrollers. There are some leaders who are mass customer enrollers. There are some leaders who get samples out, like 40 samples in a month. And it's like, what, right? But you have to find your strengths and what you're good at. We can't compare ourselves to other leaders and take their posts and try to, oh my gosh, they are a mass promoter enroller. What are they doing that I'm not? It's not about what they're doing. You need to find a way to do it your way. It's your business. They're not running your business. You're not running their business. Nobody's going to run your business for you. It is ours. It's more productive to focus on whether you're fulfilling your own potential than comparing yourself to somebody else. Lindsay's not going to fulfill my potential. Like, that's just not going to happen. I don't see that girl wasting her energy to fulfill my potential, right? She didn't come from where I came from. I didn't come from where she came from, right? And the ranks are there for everybody. And I've said this in a couple of my lives before. Ranks don't go away. They're always there. So even if you hit them and you fall off, okay, cry about it, but pick yourself back up and keep moving, because you're going to hit that rank again. It's not like it went away. It's still there waiting for you to get it again. And then the next one is waiting for you. Your future is waiting for you. Your potential is waiting for you to be, for you to fulfill it. And I've said this before too, that God has already prepared your blessings for you. So if you feel like you're in that in between, that's just God preparing you to receive your blessings. You just have to show up every day to get that done. And that was pretty much it.
I love that. I love that you said, you can't really compare to everybody else, because like everybody has different stories. And even if you came from the same kind of thing and you have similar stories, they didn't experience it the way you experienced it. So I love that. And there's power behind that. Does anybody have anything else that they want to add, or we'll wrap this up kind of early tonight? No? All right. We'll hop off a little early tonight. Go get some rest, and I'll see you guys in the chat tomorrow. Thank you, Karen.